Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super Fantify. This week's show, we're talking about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Demon Lord 2099, Season 1, Episode 7. Great episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So we're immediately picking where the last episode left off with Vital going up against Marcus. And obviously, he's already got enhancements on himself beforehand, which Marcus is like, oh, cool, I see what you're doing there. By enhancing yourself and activating spells ahead of time, it's hard for me to deactivate them and stuff like that when they're already... Because I can shut them down before they're even cast, but when they're already cast, but it's like there's only a limit to how long he can keep that enhancement up. So him and Marcus are going toe-to-toe. Because he kept giving Marcus an opportunity. It's like, right, after everything you've done, all the immortals you've sacrificed, all of the dark peers that you've sacrificed, and you tried to do that to the person I care about the most, Machina. So I will look past your transgressions, and I will give you another opportunity. Either you back down, and either you like accept death, or you basically like repent for what you've done and come back to my servitude. Which I'm like, would Vital really be so forgiving? I guess when like in actual, like when so many of the immortals he knows are dead, I guess it's like, right, you take what you can get, because it's like, you know, like considering Marcus could be a valuable asset despite what he's done. I think that's so fascinating that Vital was legitimately willing to forgive a lot despite everything. But I would think not. But I mean, once again, he was forgiving up to a certain point. He gave him 3 chances. Well, no, he said you get a second chance. After that, there will not be a third, and he made that clear. So, but Marcus is like, right, my Familia still outpaces you in whatever way, so you will never be able to defeat me no matter what. It's like, oh, you try to aim for my Familia, but no matter how much you try, you'll never be able to beat me, because I'll always be able to be faster and stronger than you, because I'll always be a step ahead of you, because you'll never have a Familia allowing you to compensate for that, especially because his is the most advanced one. But when it's all said and done, he's able to, because his head exploded, he was able to spew some blood on Vital, and he constantly causes it to explode because he's able to detonate his blood like a bomb. Blood to bomb. And he does it over and over again to the point he damages Vital's armor and also blows off both of his arms. And he's so considerate, like, oh yeah, I've won. I've outclassed you. I've done everything. Everything I've done has been for the purpose of becoming a true demon lord. You're a relic. The fact of the matter is, you could, well, because it comes up later on, but it's like, right, you lost to Graham, so there's you know, you're not that tough. But it's also like, whoa, Marcus, don't even put yourself in the same realm as Graham. So I think that speaks volumes in the end too, that it's like you weren't even on Graham's level, meaning given the opportunity, Graham probably could have beaten you too, considering he beat Vital, and Vital kind of usually beats you. But either way, when it's all said and done, Vital decides like, no, you should be happy, Marcus. You've pushed me to a point that no one else has seen this, because not even Machina has seen this. Only person who has ever seen this trump card of his, like Graham said, is, oh, I'm the only one that knows about it. Because it's like, right, he's never, I guess, ever had to be pushed to the point he's had to use it until his fight with Graham. And so I was curious. I was like, what is this going to look like? It's so not what I was expecting it to look like. I didn't know what his form was. I was like, is it going to be kind of like a giant kaiju? And it kind of is. It's like a giant bone dragon. Kind of reminds me of like the dark dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh, but with a sword. That was kind of surprising. But we also tie this in with Takahashi, because we find out what Takahashi's been up to, what Vital ordered her to do. Basically get his name out there, because his following is strong enough now, sure, but to do what he's about to do now, to reveal his second form, which begs the question, what about the others? Like, does Machina have another form? Once again, I guess, like, that her real form is what's kind of just like Vital when he transforms and has his armor on. I guess that's the same thing for like Machina. That next, like when she has her flame powers and her hair is red, I guess that's once again her true form. So makes you wonder, can any other person reach a second form, or is Vital special because he's the demon lord? Whatever the case may be, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of ether, and it needs to be a very specific and special location, because he's telling Marcus, like, why do you think I built my castle the way I did, so deep underground. Why do you think I chose like the upside down throne room to be my final bout with Graham? It's because it needs special conditions. For one, I basically, you need all the ley lines to line up where it's like it's a place with a whole bunch of ether and also a whole bunch of faith. And so Takahashi's beginning to spread that faith because she hijacks every screen in Shinjuku, and everyone's like, oh my god, I've seen this guy, he's been blowing up more and more, he's becoming like the #1 top search. I love that the guy that's at the bar where Takahashi, Makina, and Vettel were talking about the whole streaming thing, you see him just sitting there at the bar kind of smiling like, hey, there's a customer of mine, I was here on the ground floor. I don't know, it was just kind of interesting. I'm like, is that going to turn into something significant or not? It's sad that home dude, Takahashi's client, the one who set them down on this whole path, revealing the truth about the immortal furnace and everything. Too bad he couldn't be around, considering like he met Vettel and stuff. Like I think it would have been pretty dope to have that, because there's very few people in town who know him on a personal level like Makina and Takahashi do. Well, and Graham, obviously. And Kunihara technically falls under that category. But yeah, this faith and his name getting spread out there more made it possible for him to transform. And Marcus can't do anything against Vettel in this moment because he's like, proclamationless magic. So whereas typically to activate magic you have to say its name or some incantation or chant, now he's advanced to the point he can't, like, he doesn't need that anymore. And he's like, I've only been able to get to this level because of you, Marcus. You spent the past 500 years trying to outclass me, be better me, than be the true demon lord. In fact, you ended up helping me propel it to a point that even you haven't gotten to, and that's proclamationless magic. I would just sheer will alone am able to just will magic into existence. I mean, he kind of hit like Marcus with the combo. It's like set off an explosion in your mouth, had wind slice you to pieces, froze your body, caught you on fire, or maybe it was caught you on fire, then put you in water and kind of was drowning you, and then froze it. It's just like hitting you with combo magic. Take it, yeah, because after he froze you, he sliced it, you fell. It's just, he hit you with everything all at once. It's like you can't do anything. Every time you try to use your magic, he immediately cancels it. So it's like, right, you thought you were such a step ahead because of not only having a familia in general, but also your familia is like the more advanced one. So you thought, but it's like in this moment, you thought you were so big and you're so microscopic on so many levels, you know, not just power wise, not even size wise in this moment, but he trivialized everything that you've done for the past 500 years. It amounted to nothing. In fact, your work, actually helped propel Vettel even further. So, but Marcus is begging. It's like, sure, like I'm sorry, fine, I'll serve you again, because Vettel ended up learning because of Takahashi, because he understood the familia enough, and he has a hacker friend who taught him how to hijack even Marcus's familia, and now it's like he's able to project stuff into his head. It's like, no, this isn't just magic projection. I can actually create the illusion so that it feels so real to your brain. So it's like, right, stop all this. I'll go back to you. But it's like, no, we're past that point. I told you there wasn't going to be a third shot. Stabs him with the sword, puts him over where the furnace is. It's like, I will drop you in this. It's like, this will be your way to kind of make up for everything. And he's like, well, how would you be any different from me? He's like, well, the furnace needs to keep going. It is a wonderful thing, and it powers this entire city. So we can't let this die. Besides, it should also pay for your transgressions of all the immortals you've trapped in here, and you've sacrificed to this thing. And yeah, he had his final gambit, and it did not work. His blood bomb didn't work. In fact, because he had previously kept trying to use his blood sword, but the hack inside of his familia made it so it's like, nope, like you can't even, like, at least previously you were about to start the spell and it got canceled. Now you can't even start up the spell anymore because Vettel shut that down, but also treated him like a bug. It's like, cool, I'm gonna take my finger and I'm gonna slide you off my sword and make you fall into the furnace and die, you know? And there was something that Vettel said in his, like, until we meet again, and was it methadone or something like that? I don't know if that's supposed to be like their equivalency of like Valhalla, of like, even when your soul burns away, it's like, maybe we'll meet again in some form of afterlife for, you know, some other existence beyond all this. I don't know if that's what he was kind of referencing. Like I said, like a Valhalla, a demonic an immortal version of Valhalla or something like that. Yeah, I was like, wow, he got trounced. It was like, hey, it was a pretty close match at the beginning until it's like y'all went Super Saiyan in a lot of ways, and then it became not even a close match. I trounced you. At least like Frieza versus Goku, it's like even when Goku went Super Saiyan, it still wasn't a one-sided fight. That was still a struggle even till the end, right? It wasn't that large of a gap. So, I mean, if anything, it felt like Frieza versus Trunks. We're talking. Oh, Dragon Ball Z, Frieza. I don't know enough about Super to include like all the shit that goes down, especially with Frieza and Super. But anyway, some very very fascinating developments on that front. Um, but yeah, like I love Vetol being like, right, was that form scary to you? And Makina's like, well, yes, but it's very befitting the Demon Lord. And for him, it's like, right, the glimmer of life. And she's like, what are you saying? He's like, for the first time, he was starting to see that glimmer of life, whether it was all the immortals that were before and even Machina in front of him now. Basically, he's like, I was weak, but because I was weak, I was able to see the glimmer of life. Basically, it's like this situation made him see, like, now he's in the same boat Graham is. It's like, this is why Graham conquered you last time, because you were just in it for yourself before. Now there was something more at stake here. You had a purpose. You had like the appreciation of life is now there. And so they had this moment where he tells Makina, like, kind of like, I see you, and is like, I love you, and she's like, I love you too. And I'm like, okay, good. Like, I mean, I don't think that's just a lord and his servant type of love. I do think it's like no, like, I know how important you are to me, So I was like, oh, that's sweet. And then the episode ends with them meeting up with Takahashi. But the world kind of goes on not knowing the truth about Marcus. So he's dead, and I kind of figured he would be. Like I said, I was going to be shocked if Vetol like legitimately took him back. Gave him two opportunities, and he squandered it because he just refused to. Because he always thought he was better than Vetol, especially now. Because he even told Vetol his final words was like, "You don't even know like why I had to become the way I did. You don't even know what caused the world to become the way it is. Like there's a lot more at play here than you know. Because we've only focused on Shinjuku, but obviously the entire world has gotten turned upside down because of the collision of these two worlds." But either way, we'll probably learn about that more later on. But yeah, they were saying like, yeah, there's a new CEO of Marcus's company. I don't know if that's supposed to be Takahashi, because we saw her kind of like a higher brow location. So I'm like, I wonder if she the one. I mean, I'm sure Vetol has like, he has no interest in it. So I mean, it could be like, he could technically be the new director, but she's like the face of the operation. It could be that, but I feel like it's probably more so like, nah, he probably, Vetol was like, no, go ahead, take the whole company. I kind of have no interest in it. So the question then becomes like, well, Marcus is going to keep the furnace going for a while, but how long will it be before, can you tell people the truth about what it is, and how much will that change things? I mean, Vetol made it clear that he was going to kind of get everything in the end. He was going to continue like with the city being what it is, but also rescuing Machina. So. And we also have Graham and Kunihara leaving together, which I was hoping that was going to be the case after the bond they had last episode. It's like, right, she's going to kind of be his squire in a lot of ways, I guess. So it's kind of nice because it also means like Graham's not walking through this world alone. So who knows if we'll see these two going forward, because it seems like our main trio, I think, going forward will be Vetol, Machina, and Takahashi. Maybe she'll just stay in Shinjuku, but I don't know. And we'll probably just get introduced to other main recurring characters over the course of things. Because yeah, like Machina and Vetol have moved into a new place. It's like, all right, her place did get blown up, but they've got a like really really nice place, and everything's set up. He's got his streaming set up. They've also sitting down to eat together. So I thought that was really sweet, really nice. So kind of interesting. I was like, well, I know there's definitely going to be more to the season, but obviously they always do that thing where it's like the outro song plays, but it's just like credits playing over the outro, like the ending of the episode, not the actual proper like ending that we get. So there is another episode after this called, what was it, like basically it's Akihabara, which I talked about that earlier in this season. That's kind of how the light novels are like bundled up and how they're divided, because each arc for the most part is the new city. So this is Shinjuku, one of them is Akihabara. I want to say, I can't remember the third one. I'm pretty sure Akihabara was like the second one, which is kind of interesting because I was looking up like how many episodes is this season supposed to be. There's no like conclusive thing, I don't think. I think it's just speculation that it's 12, which I'm like, that's such an interesting place to like, right, if up to now has been like Shinjuku is like making Akihabara only like the last 5 episodes is interesting. Not unless this season's a little longer than we thought, but maybe the Akihabara arc is just shorter, or maybe they're condensing it more down just to these 5 episodes. I mean, it's not that big of a difference between 7 episodes of the Shinjuku arc. I mean, I guess you could make the argument maybe knock off the first 2 episodes, even though it still would count as part of the Shinjuku arc. You're having 7 versus 5 if it is in fact 12. We'll see, but I'm so interested to see what, once again, this is Shinjuku circumstances. What is Akihabara circumstances? Why would they even need to go to Akihabara? Like, what would draw them there in the first place? Maybe Vental's going to decide, like, that he's going to... Maybe it's going to be like a thing of trying to find a solution for Shinjuku circumstances, or maybe it is about unraveling the mystery of how this world came to be the way it is. Like Marcus's final words about why he had to become the way he did. So, I mean, you've kind of, I guess, conquered Shinjuku in a way. So I guess you're going on to the next city you can conquer. Maybe that's kind of the thought process. I'm interested to see how the story flows going forward with this, with the next episode and all of this. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.